Hi everyone, I'm Xiao Bai from Susan's family. Today, I'll show you a bare earphone case, overall style. This earphone case consists of the main part, arms, facial features, and decorations. Let's start by learning how to crochet the main part. It is divided into two legs, the body, the head, and the cover. First, crochet two legs separately. After completing them, join them together, and continue crocheting upwards for the body and head. Finally, crochet the cover. Let's start with the legs. We will start from foundation chain. Work in rounds, follow the foundation chain. Before we begin, let's take a look at the chart. In the chart, our plus number indicates the round number. The stitch instructions column shows what stitch techniques used when crocheting that specific round, as well as the increasing or decreasing situations. The total stitches column indicates the total number of stitches for that round after completion. This toy uses X stitch single crochet throughout. We will simply refer to it as single crochet moving forward. The stitch techniques used include CH chain stitch and X stitch single crochet, W single crochet 3-in-1, V single crochet increase and slip stitch. Next, please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Take out the corresponding yarn. Here, for your convenience in seeing more clearly, the sample swatch is demonstrated using cotton yarn. Random colors. For specific yarn, color schemes, and hook sizes, please refer to the detail page of our product and the paper instructions. Before starting to crochet, learn the proper posture for crocheting first. Wrap the yarn tail around the left little finger once. Thread it through between the middle finger and index finger. Then, pinch the yarn tail with the thumb and middle finger. Pick up the corresponding size crochet hook with your right hand. The crochet hook moves between these 2 points. The cast on is 6ch. This indicates that the method for casting on is the foundation chain. Cast on 6 stitches. Start with a slip knot. Place the hook underneath the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Pinch the crossing point of the loop with your left thumb and middle finger. Put your hook above the yarn. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through the loop. The starting knot doesn't count as one stitch. Slightly tighten. Crochet chain stitch next. Yarn over. Pull the yarn through. 1 chain stitch is completed. Crochet 5 more stitches like this. 1, 2, 3. That's how you complete the foundation chain. Now let's move on to the first round. Dow 2 means start crocheting from the second chain stitch from the hook. Use the crochet hook to pick up the top loop of the second chain stitch. It's this single strand of yarn right here. The number before X tells you how many single crochets to make. Here it means to work 4 single crochets into the top loop of the chain stitch. Insert the hook into the top loop of the chain stitch. Place the hook above the yarn. Draw the yarn through. There will be 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over. And draw through in once. That completes 1 X stitch single crochet. From now on, we'll refer to it as a single crochet. There are 2 strands of yarn, forming a V shape at the top right. This is the stitch of a single crochet. Pick up these 2 strands and place a marker. If you don't have a stitch marker, you can use a safety pin or paperclip instead. Continue with the second single crochet. Pick up one strand from the top loop of the adjacent chain stitch. Place the hook above the yarn. Pull through. Yarn over. And draw through the 2 loops on your hook. The second single crochet is now complete. Continue to complete the remaining 2 single crochets. One, 2. After completing them, pick up one strand from the top loop of the last chain stitch. Crochet single crochet 3 in 1. That is, work 3 single crochets into the same stitch. One, 2, 3. Then rotate the fabric. Pick up the other side of the foundation chain, and go back to crochet. First, pick up the remaining 2 strands from the adjacent chain stitch. This is the insertion point for the stitch on this side. Make 1 single crochet. Here you can place the starting tail above the crochet hook. Hide it as you crochet. Continue at the position of the adjacent chain stitch on the left side. Work single crochets. One, 2. When you reach the final chain stitch position, make 1 single crochet increase, that is, work 2 single crochets in this position. One, 2. The single crochet increase is completed. In the first stitch, which is also the stitch marker position. Work 1 slip stitch. Insert. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. And draw through in once all the loops on the hook. Slip stitch completed. The slip stitch is not indicated in the chart. When crocheting, you need to work a slip stitch at the end of each round. This is the braid formed by the slip stitch. The slip stitch doesn't count as one stitch and needs to be tightened. The first round of crocheting is completed. You can see that the texture on the right side of the fabric is clear, while the texture on the wrong side is blurry. We will use the side with the clearer texture as the right side. The side with the blurry texture is the wrong side. For the following crocheting, keep the right side facing you. Now let's crochet the second round. Start with 1 chain as a turning chain. This turning chain is not marked in the chart. In actual crocheting in rounds, you need to work a turning chain at the start of each round. The turning chain does not count as a stitch. Work 1 single crochet increase into the first stitch of the previous round. Place a marker on the first stitch. Continue picking up stitches, and work 3 single crochets. You can see the single crochet forms a cross like this. On top, there is a raised diagonal line. The 2 strands above the diagonal line are the stitch. Next comes 3V. The number before the V indicates how many single crochet increases to make in a row. Here it means to work 3 consecutive single crochet increases. After completing that, then proceed to crochet 3 single crochets one by one. Finally, on the remaining 2 stitches, continuously work single crochet increases. After completing, slip stitch to the first stitch. Insert the hook. Yarn over. And draw the yarn through. Pull through all the loops on the hook in one go. The slip stitch is now complete. Tighten the yarn. This completes the second round of crocheting. Continue with the third round. Start with 1 chain stitch as the turning chain. Let me emphasize this again. At the start of each round, you need to make a turning chain. I won't repeat this for the following rounds. Crochet evenly with 18 single crochets. This means working single crochets into each stitch from the previous round in sequence. Total of 18 stitches. For convenience in locating the slip stitch position later, mark the first stitch of each round. Crocheting evenly will make the fabric naturally curl. Adjust the fabric so that the right side faces out. Finally, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. The third round is now complete. Next, we'll work on the fourth round. Start by crocheting 8 single crochets correspondingly into each stitch. After completing those, make 1 single crochet increase. Then continue with 9 single crochets. Lastly, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. Make a chain stitch to secure. Leave about 5 centimeters of yarn tail before cutting the yarn. The yarn tails can be dealt with later. The 4th round is now complete. At the same time, one leg has also been completed. Let's take a look. A raised texture on the right side indicates one round. Starting from the starting chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. So far, we have crocheted 4 rounds. Everyone can follow the same method. Refer to the chart and complete the other leg. After finishing the second leg, don't break the yarn. Next, we will crochet the body. Start by joining the 2 legs. Then continue crocheting in rounds upward. You will need to change colors while crocheting. The new stitch techniques used include a single crochet decrease. Please watch the demonstration. Continuing from the leg without breaking the yarn. Crochet round 5. Start with 2 chain stitches. Take the other leg. On this last round. On the last stitch. Which is the stitch to the right of the stitch marker? Crochet 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. The joining between the 2 legs is now complete. Starting from this stitch, crochet 9 single crochets. Place a stitch marker on the first single crochet to mark it. Weave in the yarn tail while crocheting. After completing, make 1 single crochet increase. Nine single crochets. Next, we reach the joining position. Pick up 1 strand from the top loop of the chain at the joining spot. Crochet 2 corresponding single crochets. You can place a stitch marker on the remaining 2 strands of the chain for reference. This makes it more convenient to locate the position later. Now we move to the next leg. Start from the first stitch, which is the marked stitch with the stitch marker. Pick up each stitch and crochet 9 single crochets. Make 1 single crochet increase. 9 single crochets. Next, we reach the joining position again. Pick up the remaining 2 strands of the chain at the joining spot. That is, the stitch marker position. Correspondingly make 2 single crochets. After completing, join with a slip stitch at the stitch marker position. The 5th round of crocheting is finished. After finishing this round, the 2 legs might look a bit tilted. This is a normal occurrence from the next 6th round to the 16th round in the chart. The crochet technique is relatively simple. The stitch techniques used have all been demonstrated in detail earlier. The meaning of the stitch instructions is similar to before. You just need to follow the stitch order in the chart and repeat crocheting the corresponding number of times. Let me explain here. In the chart are EIGHT_NINE. And, even for 8x, means starting from the 8th round, crochet 1 stitch for each stitch, with every round having 48 stitches. Continue straight until the 9th round is finished. For any similar format that appears later, the meaning will be similar to this. Please refer to the chart, and complete these rounds on your own. Next, we will crochet round 17. The color scheme of the sample swatch is not for reference. Start with 11 single crochets. I have already completed this part in the sample. After that, the table shows A, which indicates a single crochet decrease. Let's take a look first. The stitch looks like these 2 strands of yarn. The one closer to the right side is called the front loop. The other one is the back loop. Insert your hook into the front loop of the first stitch. Then insert it into the front loop of the next stitch on the left. There should be 3 loops on your hook. Place the hook above the yarn. Draw the yarn through. Pass through the first 2 loops. There are 2 loops left on the hook. Yarn over. And draw through in once. That completes the single crochet decrease. This method of picking up the front loop only for decreasing is called an invisible decrease. When you crochet using this technique, the gaps between stitches are smaller. The fabric overall looks more delicate. Continue crocheting 23 single crochets correspondingly. After completing that, crochet one more single crochet decrease. Insert the hook into the front loop of the first stitch. Then insert it into the front loop of the left stitch. There are 3 loops on the hook. Place the hook above the yarn. Draw the yarn through. Pass through the first 2 loops. There are 2 loops left on the hook. Yarn over, and draw through in once. That completes the single crochet decrease. Next, work single crochets evenly into each stitch. Finally, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Tighten the yarn. Round 17 is now completed. For the next rounds 18 and 19, work single crochets into each stitch. Continue until there is 1 stitch left in round 19. Here, my sample swatch is already done. Since the next round requires a color change, this is where the last stitch will be. You need to start with an incomplete single crochet. Insert the hook. Place it above the yarn, and pull the yarn through. This is the incomplete single crochet. Then take the new yarn. The sample uses random colors. Leave a tail of about 5 centimeters. Pull the yarn through, completing the single crochet. Then join with a slip stitch using the new yarn. Adjust slightly. Leave about 5 centimeters of the original yarn tail, and cut the yarn. Place both yarn tails at the back of the fabric piece. This completes the color change. When you need to switch colors later, you can follow this method for changing colors. Up to this point, the 19th round is completed. Continue crocheting the 20th round with the new yarn. Start by crocheting the corresponding number of single crochets. Crochet while wrapping the yarn into the stitches. Next, pick up the back loops of the stitches. Correspondingly make 3 single crochets for each stitch. Then, pick up stitches normally and crochet the corresponding number of single crochets. Continue picking up the back loops and crocheting 3 single crochets. Pick up stitches normally and crochet single crochets. Keep going until you complete this round. Finally, join with a slip stitch in the first single crochet stitch. The 20th round is now completed. For rounds 21 through 29, there are no new stitches or techniques used. Everyone, refer to the chart and crochet it to completion. The sample swatch here is already finished. At the end, leave a yarn tail of about 5 centimeters and cut the yarn. Weave in the yarn tail along the texture on the wrong side. Trim any excess tails. This completes the body section. Next, we'll crochet the head. Continue crocheting rounds upward from the body. Make sure to leave an opening while crocheting. After crocheting is finished, sew the ending together. The new technique used is K-skipping stitches. Please watch the demonstration. Next, crochet the 30th round. Take out the corresponding color yarn. The sample here is for convenience in watching. Colors are random. Find the last round of the body. Position of the 10th stitch. Join the yarn. Make a slip knit with the yarn. Pull through. Adjust slightly. Then start crocheting the corresponding number of single crochets. Pay attention, the first stitch should be crocheted at the joining position. After completing, crochet the corresponding number of chain stitches. Skip the next stitches and don't crochet them. Slip stitch into the first stitch. The 30th round is completed. Next, crochet the 31st round. Refer to the chart first. Crochet the corresponding stitch techniques. Continue crocheting until just before the chain space position. When you reach the corresponding position, pick up one strand of yarn from the top of the chains. Work single crochets evenly. After finishing, slip stitch into the first stitch. The 31st round is completed. For the 32nd round, start by picking up and crocheting the required number of single crochets normally. Then, pick up the back loops and work single crochets correspondingly. For the remaining rounds, no new stitches or techniques are used. Just follow the stitch pattern in the chart to crochet. After completing the final round, leave a yarn tail of about 20 centimeters. Fasten off the yarn. Thread the yarn tail into a darning needle. You can remove the stitch marker here. Flatten the head symmetrically on both sides. Use the whip stitch method to pick up corresponding stitches, and sew to close the opening. After completing the sewing, secure the yarn tail with a few extra stitches on the wrong side. Trim any excess yarn tail. That's how you complete the head. Set the side with the opening as the back of the main part. The other side will be the front. Next, we'll crochet the cover. On the remaining half stitches of the head, work back and forth in rows. Make sure to leave space for the buttonhole while crocheting. Please watch the demonstration. Let's start with row 1. Place the wrong side of the main part facing you. Feet on top. Head at the bottom. Find the remaining half stitches from the 31st round of the head. Join the yarn at the rightmost half stitch. Crochet 1 chain stitch to start. Starting from the joining position. Work single crochets into each stitch in sequence. Place a marker on the first stitch to mark it. Place another marker on the last stitch to mark it. Row 1 is now complete. Now let's move on to row 2. Start with 1 chain stitch to begin. Turn means to turn the fabric over. Place the wrong side facing you. Rotate counterclockwise to turn it over. Pick up stitches and work single crochets evenly into each stitch. When crocheting on the wrong side, the stitch will be located at the top left. Row 2 is now complete. The working method for rows 3 and 4 is the same as row 2. Please complete them on your own. Next, we will crochet row 5. Crochet 1 chain as turning chain. Turn the workpiece over. Skip the first stitch without crocheting. Starting from the second stitch, crochet 5 single crochets. After completing, make 4 chains. Skip next 4 stitches without crocheting. Starting from the 5th stitch, crochet 4 single crochets. Skip 1 stitch. Crochet 1 single crochet into the last stitch. The 5th row is completed. This chain space is the buttonhole position. Now let's crochet the 6th row. Start with 1 chain stitch to begin. Turn the workpiece over. Skip 1 stitch. Starting from the 2nd stitch, crochet 4 single crochets. Chain stitch position. Pick up 1 strand from the top of the chain. Crochet 4 single crochets, working into each stitch in sequence. After completing, crochet 3 single crochets. Skip 1 stitch and leave it unworked. Crochet 1 single crochet into the last stitch. Leave a tail of about 5 centimeters. Break the yarn. Remove the stitch marker. Weave in the yarn tail along the texture on the wrong side. Once it's secured tightly, trim off the excess tail. The 6th row is now completed. Up to this point, the cover has been crocheted completely. At the same time, the explanation of the main part is also finished. Next, we will crochet the arms. We will start from foundation chain. Work in rounds, follow the foundation chain. When crocheting, you need to change colors and attach magnetic clasp. There are 2 parts to the magnetic clasp. The side with the protrusion is the male part. The side with the dent is the female part. Place the male part on top and attach it to the front of the left arm. The female part goes on the bottom and attach it to the back of the right arm. The left and right sides here are determined by the earphone case, when its right side is facing you. Next, I will demonstrate using the left arm as an example. First, refer to the chart. Crochet the first 6 rounds until you have 1 stitch remaining. Here, my swatch is already completed. Now, attach the male part. Press the fabric flat along the foundation chain. Pick up the male part. On the left side of the slip stitch. Between the 4th and 5th rounds. Roughly in the middle position. Insert the male part into the fabric piece. Once the position fits properly, take the base piece. And place it on the 2 prongs of the male part. Then, take the tool to assist. And press the prongs flat. This way, the male part is attached. After attaching, continue to refer to the chart and complete crocheting the remaining part of the arm. You will need to switch colors while crocheting. After completing the crocheting, leave a yarn tail of about 20 centimeters and cut the yarn. This completes the left arm. Next, make the right arm. The crocheting method is similar to that of the left arm. First, refer to the chart, and crochet the first 6 rounds until there is 1 stitch remaining. Then press the fabric piece flat along the foundation chain. On the left side of the slip stitch, between the 4th and 5th rounds, at roughly the middle position, attach the female part. The installation method is similar to that of the male part. Please complete this step on your own. Then continue to crochet the remaining part of the arm. After crocheting, leave a yarn tail of about 20 centimeters, which will be used for sewing. Up to this point, the explanation for the right arm is complete. Finally, sew the arms together. Start by sewing the left arm. You can remove the stitch marker. Thread the reserved yarn tail into a sewing needle. Take the main part. Place the right side of the main part facing you. Position the arm with the slip stitch marks facing down. Align the top of the arm with the 25th round of the bodice side edge. Use the whip stitch method for sewing. Pick up the last round of stitches from the arm and sew it to the roughly corresponding position on the body. Here, I'll demonstrate the arm sewing process using a sample swatch. This completes the sewing of the left arm. Everyone can use the same method to sew the right arm. Pay attention while sewing. Keep the side with the slip stitches facing down. The female part should be at the back. The positions of both arms need to be symmetrical. You can now complete the sewing on your own. Up to this point, the explanation of the arms is finished. Next, we will make and attach the facial features. It consists of the ears, the nose, the eyes and blush. Let's start by crocheting the ears. They are divided into the outer ear and inner ear. Start crocheting first, then attach it to the main part. Begin with the outer ear. Use the magic ring method to start. Crochet in rounds. Please watch the demonstration. Let's start by casting on. The cast on is Mr. This means the cast on method is the adjustable magic ring. Hold the yarn with your left hand. Hold the crochet hook with your right hand. Place the hook underneath the yarn. Wrap the yarn counterclockwise. Form a loop on the hook. Use your left thumb and middle finger to pinch the crossing point of the loop. Make sure the loop is large. Place the hook on the left side of the yarn. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. The magic ring is now complete. Next, crochet the corresponding number of single crochets into the magic ring. Place a marker on the first single crochet to mark it. After completing the crocheting, close the magic ring. Pull the yarn tail tight directly. Then slip stitch at the marked stitch position. Tighten. The first round is now complete. Next, we will crochet the second round. Our 2 is XV times 4. The parentheses here indicate a group. Times number indicates the number of times to repeat the pattern. First, make 1 single crochet. Then, crochet 1 single crochet increase. One group, XV, is now done. I'll demonstrate another group. First, make 1 single crochet. Then, work 1 single crochet increase. This is the second group. You need to repeat this pattern 4 groups in total for this round. Continue and complete the remaining 2 groups. After finishing, join with a slip stitch at the marked stitch position. The second round is now complete. For the following third and fourth rounds, no new stitches or techniques are used, just refer to the chart and crochet accordingly. After completing the crocheting, leave a yarn tail of about 20 centimeters. Then, cut the yarn. That's it for one ear. Next, we'll attach it. Take the reserved yarn tail, thread it into a darning needle. Press the ear flat along the slip stitch position. And take out the main part. Position the slip stitch side of the ear facing down. Align the top of the ear with the second to last round of the head. Then count down 3 rounds from there. Sew the curve to match the arc of the head and arm. Use a similar sewing method to how the arms were sewn. Employ the whip stitch technique. Pick up the stitches of the ear and sew them together with the roughly corresponding position on the head. Complete the sewing on your own. Pay attention to ensuring the positions of the 2 ears are symmetrical. That concludes the explanation of the outer ear. Next, we will crochet the inner ear. Start with the adjustable magic ring method. Crochet in rounds. After completing the crocheting, attach it. Next, please watch as I demonstrate the specific crocheting method. Begin with the magic ring. Then work single crochets through the loop of the magic ring. Once finished, close the magic ring. No slip stitch join is needed here. Leave a yarn tail of about 10 centimeters. Cut the yarn. Next, we'll start tucking. Pull the starting yarn tail to the right side of the fabric. That is, the side with clearer texture. Thread the reserved yarn tail into a sewing needle. Insert the needle through the first single crochet stitch. Bring it out from back to front. Then bring it back through the chain where the yarn tail is located. Finish securing the stitch. Trim the beginning and ending yarn tails. Leave a little bit for safety. Apply some glue on the right side. Attach it to the middle of the outer ear, slightly lower in position. This completes one inner ear, both crocheting and attaching. Everyone can follow the same method. Complete the other one by crocheting, and attaching it as well. Up to this point, the explanation for the ears is complete. Next, we will crochet the nose. The nose includes the nose piece, the embroidery thread for the nose, and the nose tip. First, we will crochet the nose piece. We will start from foundation chain, and work in rounds follow the foundation chain. Everyone can refer to the chart to crochet it properly. After finishing, there's no need to slip stitch. Leave a yarn tail of about 10 centimeters. Then, cut the yarn. We will now weave in the stitches. I've already finished crocheting this part of the swatch. You can leave the yarn tails for later. Join the yarn to start embroidering the nose thread. Cut a piece of black yarn about 20 centimeters long. Pull out 2 small strands from it. Thread them into your darning needle. Start on the wrong side of the nose piece. In the middle, embroider a center line there. Exit the needle from the middle position of the final round. Leave a yarn tail. Then insert the needle into the middle of the first round from below. That completes the center line. Next, embroider a V-shaped segment below the center line. V-shaped spaces with 1 stitch in between. Insert the needle through the middle of the stitch next to the center stitch. Then insert it back into the position of the vertical line. Exit again from the middle of the adjacent stitch. Finally, insert it once more into the position of the vertical line. Tie the beginning and ending yarn tails into a knot. Cut off the excess tails. Take the nose tip. Apply glue. Attach the nose tip horizontally above the vertical line of the nose, in the middle position. Finally, apply glue on the right side of the nose piece. Align the top of the piece with the 8th round, from the bottom of the main part. Glue it onto the relatively centered position of the main part. That completes the nose. Next, let's attach the eyes. Take out the eyes. Apply glue on them. Stick them on the sides of the nose. Align the top with the 7th round from the end. Attach them vertically like this. Up to this point, the eyes are installed. Finally, let's make the blush. We will start from foundation chain. Work in rounds, follow the foundation chain. After crocheting is finished, tuck the beginning and ending yarn tails to the right side of the fabric. The method is similar to that used for the nose piece. Everyone refer to the chart to complete the crocheting. Then apply glue on the right side. Attach it on both sides of the nose. At a proper position below the eyes. Leave about 1 stitch space apart from the nose. Align the top with the nose piece. This way, the blush is completed. The explanation of all facial features is now complete. Next, we will make the decorations. It consists of straps, pocket, and closure button. First, crochet the straps. On the 19th round of the body, work on the remaining half stitches. Crochet back and forth. The crocheting method for both straps is identical. After crocheting is finished, sew buttons onto the top of the straps. Next, I will demonstrate using any one of the straps as an example. First, let's crochet row 1. Here, I'll use a small sample for demonstration. Take out the corresponding color yarn. Place the main part with the right side facing you. Join the yarn in the last half stitch on the far right. Crochet 1 chain stitch to begin. Starting from the joining position, work single crochets into each stitch in sequence. There are a total of 3 single crochets. Row 1 is completed. Now let's move on to row 2. First, crochet 1 chain stitch to start. Turn the work piece. Work 3 single crochets evenly into each stitch in sequence. Row 2 is now finished. For rows 3 through 5, follow the same crocheting method as row 2. Everyone can complete these rows on their own. Next, we will crochet row 6. First, crochet 1 chain stitch to start. Turn the work piece. Skip the first stitch without crocheting. Crochet 1 single crochet into adjacent stitch. Work 1 slip stitch into the last stitch. Gently tighten. Leave a yarn tail of about 5 centimeters and cut the yarn. Weave in the yarn tail along the texture of the wrong side of the strap. Row 6 is now completed. At the same time, one strap has also been finished. Following the method demonstrated earlier, complete the other strap. Next, sew on the buttons. Refer to the chart and pick up the corresponding color yarn. Cut a 50 centimeter length of yarn. Pull out one small strand. Thread it into a thin needle. Naturally overlap the strap with the main part piece. Take one button. Place it horizontally on the second to last row of the strap. At approximately the centered position. Insert the needle from the inside of the main part to sew. Leave a little yarn tail. Finally, tie a knot inside the main part to secure the yarn. That's it, one button is now sewn on. Following the method demonstrated earlier, complete sewing the other button. Up to this point, the explanation for sewing buttons is complete. Next, we will crochet the pocket. We will start from foundation chain, vertical bar. Work in rounds, follow the foundation chain. After completing it, glue it onto a proper position on the main part. The new stitches used include TV half double crochet increase, T half double crochet. Please watch the demonstration. Everyone, refer to the chart and complete the first round first. The sample swatch here has already been finished. Next, we will crochet the second round. Here, the square brackets mean that the stitches inside the square brackets are worked in the same position. First, crochet 1 single crochet. Then 2 chain stitches. Crochet another single crochet in the same position. This completes one group within the brackets. Next, crochet 4 slip stitches. Do not pull the slip stitches too tight. After completing that, crochet another group of stitches in the square brackets. 1 single crochet. Two chain stitches. Crochet 1 single crochet. Then crochet 1 single crochet in the adjacent stitch. Next, crochet 2 half double crochets increase. The half double crochet increase means crocheting 2 half double crochets in the same position. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Slightly enlarge the loop. Yarn over again, and pull through. 1 half double crochet is completed. Crochet another one in the same position. Yarn over. Insert the hook. Draw the yarn through. Slightly enlarge the loop. Yarn over again, and pull through all loops. Another half double crochet is completed. The half double crochet increase is finished. Crochet 1 more half double crochet increase on the left stitch. Crochet 2 half double crochets in the next stitches. Work 2 half double crochet increases in the left stitches consecutively. Crochet 1 single crochet in the last stitch. No need for a slip stitch after completion. Leave about 10 centimeters of yarn tail, then cut the yarn. Next, we will tuck in the stitches. Thread the reserved yarn tail into a darning needle. Insert the needle into the first stitch. Pull it through from back to front. Then bring it back through to the chain where the yarn tail is located. Adjust slightly. Remove the stitch marker. The tucking is complete. Cut off the excess tail. Leave a little bit. Pull the starting yarn tail through from the right side. Apply glue on the right side at the end. Take the main part. Align the bottom of the pocket with the 10th round of the main part. Glue it in approximately the middle position. That's how you finish making the pocket. Lastly, leave space for the buttonhole at the bag opening. Sew on the closure button. Pay attention to matching the position. There's no specific requirement for the sewing method, just make sure it's secure. That's how you sew the closure button onto the bag opening. At the same time, the entire earphone case has been explained. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website, Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next episode.